Hey guys, my name is Morgan Pennell. I'm 18 years old and 6 months ago I started a business. And in this video today I really just wanted to touch on the realities of starting a business at a young age when most of your friends are off doing other things. They're partying, they're at uni, working apprenticeships, these types of things. I'm going to touch on how starting a business changed my life for the better, why I would never ever choose a different path. So just for a bit of context, I started my business 6 months ago. I was at school and my friend came up to me and he was like, whoa, I actually just ordered 50 kilos of Ralph Lauren clothing, mixed clothing, trousers, jumpers, t-shirts in like a bulk package, which we now refer to as a bale. And at the time I was like, no way, he must be making loads of money off that. It was 50 kilos and it was around £400 I think he spent on it, which is, you know, £7-8 per item. And back then Ralph Lauren was worth a lot more than it is now. It's definitely a lot more accessible to get your hands on. So yeah, definitely clicked in my head. It was a thought that stayed in my head for the next couple of weeks. And I went to a sort of private school, but I was in on a very high bursary. I think my parents paid maybe 6 or 7% of the school fees, so maybe they paid £1,000 per year. The bursaries were essentially for those who were gifted in a certain area. I went to the school because I was on like a rugby scholarship program, and so it was difficult. Most people wanted to go out and do things, buy things. I had to pay for my food during the week. I stayed there, it was a boarding school, so I had to pay for my food whenever I wanted to go out on the weekends, and I was just tired of it. I worked a sports centre job, which I did maybe once every 2 weeks, which gave me about £100, £200 a month. And I can just say it wasn't for me at all. Something had to change. I knew that deep down. So I searched up these wholesalers anyway, these designer clothing wholesalers, and there was two that popped up on my screen, one called Bulk, one called Vintage Wholesale Supply, who I now work with very closely. As I said, I didn't have much in my bank account. I had £400. So this was realistically a big risk for me. The first items that I ever spotted was these Ralph Lauren chinos. And I really thought to myself, how can I change the game when it comes to this kind of thing? See people selling stuff on Depop and Vinted, but with most stores that you come across, people just throw the item on the floor. They're very lazy on presentation, and me having ADHD, that's definitely a big thing for me. I definitely saw a gap in terms of how people presented their clothing on these secondhand marketplaces. And yeah, that's obvious. People don't care because it's clothes they're trying to get rid of. But for me, I thought, oh, I can come in and definitely start to charge some higher prices. So anyway, the day comes, I have 50 pairs of Ralph Lauren chinos arrive in this big brown box. I remember my dad looking at me saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he thought I was an absolute numpty. Genuinely had £1.24, I think it was, left in my bank account. And I was like, you wait, I'm gonna make a video, this video is gonna do well. I was so convinced, and despite everything they said, that first video ended up getting 80,000 views on TikTok, and I'd set myself the challenge to make £10,000. Fast forward a couple months, I'd been consistent. Every single day I'd been posting. Even at school, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to fill out those videos. I was generally doing half of them in secret. I was embarrassed to do it in front of my roommate. And one day I was just like, who cares? Just go for it. I still have people today in the year above, they were like, oh, when you first started, I looked at this guy and was like, what a joke, man. This guy's funny. It's just something you have to go through. And a lot of people are scared of it, but at the end of the day, it changes absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so yeah, I started to build my following slowly. To date, we are just under 40,000 followers across TikTok and Instagram. I now have 5 clients who I coach to do the exact same thing as me. One of whom has
I think it was like 1.8k revenue in a week.
After coming on board with me maybe 5 weeks ago, which is pretty crazy. That continues up for him. That's an easy £6,000 to £7,000 in a month. And the reality of it is just crazy. Like, people say money can't buy happiness. No, I don't think it specifically can, but it can solve a lot of problems for you. I no longer have to ask my parents for any money whatsoever. I work from home. I choose the hours that I work. I've got this fucking sick ass office now, and last month we brought in just over £14,000. And to think we only started this 6 months ago is just absolutely insane. And I'm forever grateful for everything that God's thrown my way. But I can't say that it wasn't a lonely journey to begin with. Those first 3 months in particular, where I almost felt like I was hiding something from people, is something that I think everyone should be prepared for. Unless you're going into it with a friend, which I would definitely suggest. Entrepreneurship itself, it's a lonely journey. Most of my friends who left school, they've all gone out to work. They've all gone to university. It's a different route, living off of student finance. It's a different kind of scarcity in the mindset. I'm still extremely close with the 4 best friends that I left from my original school, and one whom also started a business from my later school. And after everything, the freedom is just unmatched. Starting the business changed my mentality in everything in life. Whether it be letting go of friends, letting go of sports I didn't want to play, just doing things and saying yes to things that you didn't want to do. Your mindset completely switches. And I truly can say that I don't think there's anything that I currently do in my life which I don't choose and willingly want to do. One thing that I've certainly learned is how limited your time is, and it really shouldn't be taken for granted. And life is all about the things that are going to fulfill you and make you happy and ultimately allow you to enjoy your time. So, business as a whole, none of the labour I do is skilled whatsoever. I iron clothes, I list clothes onto apps like Depop and Vinted. I post on social media, very easy stuff. But if I were to do this for any sort of retail store, similar things, you'd be getting paid a minimum of £9, maybe maximum £13-14 an hour. Now what you got to realise is, starting a business in any sector, whether it be e-com, whether it be a service-based business, whether it be an agency, you are in control. You have control of the finances in the business, which means what you make, essentially you can choose to pay yourself. And in my case, the average item sale price is roughly around £25 each, which means that 4 sales a day is what's going to cover the cost of a normal job, a normal 9 to 5, unskilled. When you start to compare 8 hours of labour in a coffee shop or in a retail store to 4 items selling per day of your own, it's a no-brainer. And this is why it just clicked in my head, even at the age of 17 when I started this. That 4 sales a day is genuinely going to earn you more than the average adult. I was earning more than my mum was, and a similar earning to what my dad was doing at a managerial role about 3 months in. And bear in mind, guys, do not forget I started with £400. That was it. Genuinely £400, reinvested everything I had. And now I'm at the point where I can happily take £3,000 to £4,000 out of the business each month for personal expenses and continue to reinvest and continue to grow. And no, it's not a huge number. I'm not fucking balling. But what it does is allow me to be comfortable. It allows me to take trips. The other day we went to Milan for 5 days, went sightseeing, met new people, and I honestly wouldn't change it for the world. I've said this before, but the things that I value so heavily in life is exploring new experiences, good relationships, and comfortability. And this business just ticks all 4 of them. To be honest, I don't care all that much for the finer things, the private jets, the flashy cars. They'll come in due time. But for me, to be able to choose when I work, to genuinely say that I am happy on a daily basis doing what I do, giving me time to go to the gym, giving me time to eat healthy. Yeah, honestly, couldn't recommend it more. So if you are watching this and you've made it this far, don't be afraid. Start that business. Control your own finances. The big gist and point that I'm trying to get across is that you don't have to be Bill Gates. But as soon as you're in control of the finances and the things that you sell, you will have that comfortability. And take it from me, someone who started at just 17 years old, 6 months in, £14,000 in a month. Just fucking go for it. Fuck what anyone else says. Just go for it and you will not regret it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe. It's all really appreciated as we started this account recently. Going to be posting lots of travel vlogs, more inspirational talks, and hopefully bring you guys on our journey as we continue to grow our business. And yeah, hope to see you guys following along.